think if I had to sum up the trip in one word, it would probably be perspective. Because, like, obviously the perspective from each team member is very different, but seeing things from God's perspective must have been so cool. They have no idea what I'm doing right now, but I'm gonna turn this and flip it around and change it, and they're gonna love it.
I was really excited about the trip originally, but I thought it was gonna be like, we come, we build a house, we leave, ta-da! And we did so much more than that.
Estoy aquí con YWAM San Jose.
And we've been doing YWAM Base and Homes of Hope to build a house for Stephanie and her kids, as well as we've been doing some other missionary and base work. There's been many times where I've stepped out and be like, okay, God, just open up a door for me and I'll just take it. It doesn't matter what it is, I'm just gonna go for it. And he was like, okay, here's this, and this.
Somebody pointed us towards a bus station where there were actually Venezuelan refugees.
We made about, I think it was 50 sandwiches and enough coffee for about 50 people as well.
To be honest, a lot of us were nervous about this. When we drove around the block, there were hundreds of people around and a big police barricade and a police bus.
And there were a bunch of tents there where families were living.
Talked to the police, let us park back there, watched us, and made it super safe.
As one of the few Spanish translators, it was pretty fun to be able to communicate with these people and see how excited they are that somebody speaks Spanish or somebody wants to hear their story or will pray for them. I was talking to one lady and I was like, well, can I pray for you? And she's like, wait, I need to get my whole family. And so then you got her kids and her husband and we all prayed together.
I was getting ready and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be cold. Do I want like a sweatshirt or sweatshirt and jacket? Don't know why I'm this cold, so I'll just take two. And then I prayed to God saying, hey, if anyone really needs this, please have them come up to us and say that they're cold. And 30 seconds later, Carly was talking to a little boy and she asked, what's your favorite color? And he says, I'm cold.
It was a mind shift to realize that these refugees have hiked with their families through thousands of miles of jungle to try and get out of Venezuela and get to a safe place. And now they're stuck here.
It was really sad to leave that day because we didn't have a plan to come back.
And there was just this deep heaviness that happened in the van of what we had just witnessed. Pretty much the whole time we were just deep interceding, praying for those people. And at the end of it, one of our leaders, Nick, said, we gotta go back. And the van erupted. We're going back tomorrow. And we did.
Sandwiches for 200, coffee for 100, candy for a whole crap ton of people.
Some of the girls also went to thrift stores and got clothes and shoes and blankets.
The first time we went, it was very sad and it was heartbreaking to leave. And then the second time we went, it was a lot happier. Like, we were able to actually satisfy it.
Because we got to reconnect with the people that we saw the night before. I got to meet the Rodriguez family, and then the next day I felt like it was Christmas and that I was able to give them gifts.
And I got a really unique opportunity when a box of Bibles was dropped at my feet. And then they'd hit the end of the line and I was there with the Bible for them.
People came back for Bibles. Someone said, thank you, princess, which made my day.
James, he had a special experience where a gentleman brought back one of the Bibles and pointed out a certain passage.
How blessed is he who considers the helpless. The Lord will deliver him in the day.
Really spoke volumes to me that these people were actually hungry for the Word of God.
It really felt like we made a lasting impact. It wasn't just giving them food for that night or socks that'll last them a little while. That we were able to come twice really meant something, that we were intentional. Sharing Bibles and the gospel with people and prayers, we will never know how impactful that can be.
The refugee camp was amazing to see God work, because when we pulled up, we were all freaked out and we were questioning, should we stay or go? It had to be of God that we were able to do all that. If I had to sum up this trip in one word, it would be giving. Because we tangibly gave a lot of stuff away to the refugees and the staff members. And we gave away of our time, and we had to give away of our expectations to match the reality of what we were doing, because everything kept changing. And we had to give up and let go. And as one of our phrases was, let go and let God.
We decided that we wanted to bless the staff here.
And I got to do that through teaching them how to do fundraising, speaking at their community night, and just encouraging them that what they do is so important.
I was asked if I would speak at a women's prayer tea here at the base. At the end, I got to chat with a few, but the particular lady that I got to chat with that really touched me is the community president of where Stephanie is.
Vivo en la urbanización del otro lado, pero conozco a Stephanie y a la familia desde hace unos 25 o 27 años.
The process of building a home and then like seeing the reward of that build was really great for me, especially as we kind of got to know her story.
It's a really, really, really great story. A week before we showed up, they began to dismantle her living area, which really was just sticks and some old metal. After they took that structure down and moved the stuff away, a massive storm came in as the periphery of a hurricane. It just flooded that whole area.
No habían pasado 10 minutos cuando de repente empezó a echar el agua, ¿verdad? Y yo me asomé a ver qué estaba pasando, porque la vi a ella sacando agua, yo también sacaba. Y en el momento vi que las paredes se movían, quise filmarlo, grabarlo.
If they hadn't removed the house that day, she would have lost every single one of her possessions. And then the local government agencies told the YM staff they couldn't build there.
Sábado por la noche yo mandé un correo. En realidad lo hice porque el Espíritu Santo me dijo, haz un correo, mándalo a la alcaldía, a la dirección de ingeniería, a la comisión de emergencias. Y mientras yo escribía el correo yo lloraba. Y les decía a ellos, lo que el Señor me ponía en el corazón, entre las palabras era que el futuro de estos niños estaba en manos de ellos.
We're like, we don't know if we're even gonna build a house, we're gonna try.
All we'd been told was, we don't know. And so we prayed that specifically we would get an answer or a yes or some sort of movement by the next morning. And that morning we got a text saying, we can build a house, we have permits.
Pero a los que aman a Dios, todas las cosas les ayudan para bien. Y lo que en un momento pareció el fin de todo, que fue la inundación, fue el comienzo de una gran victoria. Porque eso hizo que las autoridades apoyaran, que Jucún caminara más rápido y con más firmeza. ¿Por qué? Porque si esta inundación se hubiera dado después, la casa se daña. O bien, si la construcción se hubiera empezado antes, algún vecino puede parar la construcción, porque no existían los permisos. Entonces, Dios permitió eso.
The last 2 days we've been doing the build.
I got to see and be with the real family that's going to live here. I think there's something very powerful for a child to be able to contribute to their home. And they got to hang out with us and know us, and I don't think they'll ever forget that.
Like all little kids, they want to hang out with older kids or just anybody, and they want that attention and love.
We would have to get the roof on and at least tarred by 3 o'clock because the rains were going to come and there were clouds heading for us. There was just this random breeze that I believe was God's hand that would kick up and blow the clouds down a different valley. That was a huge, tangible experience of the hand of God.
One of our team members, as we were getting near the end, said, "Stop and look at what we're doing. We're not just building a house, we're building a home for someone that they get to live in for the rest of their life."
Not necessarily specifically for the Venezuelans, but we had helped the homeless problem in Costa Rica by giving the single mother a home.
And we got to do the key ceremony with Stephanie and her family, and it was really cool. We passed around the key and each talked about what building the house meant to us.
And I wish people knew all the stories, from the fundraising to the team that went to the activities that we got to do, was all God's amazing work to make it happen. And you would be so encouraged to know how good our God is.
God answers prayers, just not like in a long time, just, oh, it'll answer in a while. It can be just immediate.
There were a lot of prayers that got answered.
And Stephanie's kids are already part of the soccer and the skateboard ministry here. It's not going to end just with a house.